Baker 5 and then Romeo India. Some reason I missed one letter in that, but very good afternoon or very good morning to you maybe, sir. My name is Mark, that's Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm in the southeast of England, about 15 miles southeast of the city of London itself. I'll give you a report and some technical details and maybe a rag chew afterwards. You're next over. Back to you, Whiskey Bravo 5 with Romeo India. This is M0 JCF.
Yeah, M0 JCF, 15-5 IRI. Very good, Mark. We're here. Got an S5, S6. Not busting the speaker call, but, perfectly Q5 be about all that matters, really. Name is Doug. Doug, Oscar uniform at golf. But out in the South Central Texas. Oh, out in the middle of nowhere. More cows than people, out in the rolling hills of South Central Texas. Anyway, just heard you calling CQ, thought I'd jump in there and say you were making it up in Texas very well. I don't know what you're running, but it's not a job, that's for sure. Running the IC-7300 here, a Mercury Lux amplifier right at 1400 watts, and a 3-element step IO at 70 feet. Anyway, that comes to you by 0 JCF, WB5 on.
Yeah, Whiskey Bravo 5, India Romeo India. I knew that would catch me out. It was the India I was missing. But Doug, a great signal from you also. Peaking about S5 to me, so you're between 4 and 5 on the S meter, and a lovely audio, a perfect audio. I've got the smaller cousin radio to yours there, Doug. I've got the IC-7300 today. Normally I could run any sort of old radio. This is the most modern radio I've got, but the antenna is a 5/8 wave vertical, so it looks like from Texas. Your antenna, that step IR, is definitely doing all of the haulage, and 1400 watts. Yeah, I'm only running 100 watts from the back of the radio, and we've got very similar signal reports, and I think probably that's down to your antenna. But the conditions seem to be always right for me on 12 meters into Texas as well. There is somebody who contacts me fairly regularly from the Waco area of Texas. He's never described it as rolling hills or anything like that. I'm not too sure of the topology of or the geography of Texas itself. All I know is the Lone Star State, and it's a very big state. I was near your way just last week, Doug. I was near the area. Well, I say I was near. I was across the water. I was in Florida, and I did try a few CQ10 meter QRP contacts, but apart from one contact back to the UK, I didn't actually manage to work anyone. I had high noise problems where I was CQing from in Florida. But that's another story for another day. But you're sounding good, Doug, and the equipment working well. And thanks for coming back to the call. Whiskey Bravo 5, India Romeo India. This is Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Very good, Mark. Very good. Yeah. Q5 copy all the way. You hung in there. Did go down to about an S2 for a while. I think we came back up again. So yeah, the usual breaker here on Plus. But my conditions are fairly good, actually. Quiet conditions, There's no noise, absolutely no noise. Atmospheric noise, that I can hear my S0 when there's no signal. So, I got that's a good thing, right? Out here in the country. Yeah, Texas, there's just about any conditions that you can think of, except for alpine conditions. We don't have high mountains here. We have a few mountains, but they're pretty pitiful compared to what you have in Europe. But other than that, we have just about every other kind of topography. In this area of Texas, it is a rolling green hill. You may have heard the hill country. That's a little further north of the west from here. We are in the foothill country, I guess, yet to close. And it's much more lusher than it is in the hill country. And we get a little more rainfall. Although this year has been a terrible drought, but usually we get a little more rainfall. And it's good for growing things. We live in a vineyard here. We grow wine grapes for the best of the wine industry. And so the harvest is over. The vines are getting ready to go to seed, although they haven't quite got there yet. But in another few weeks, they'll have up seed, pick up their leaves, and they'll rest for the rest of the winter. And we'll start with the cleaning in January. So for now, I have slack time and more time for him later on. I like that, that's for sure. Thank you, Wade. Yeah, CQ12m is an Apple plate radio. There's just a ton of them on there. I think Icon hit that one out of the baseball park, right? When they came up with that one. It's been a great success for them. The price point is just perfect. And, the radio is just, it's the part. It does what it's supposed to do, and it does it, for the most part, differently. The 7610 is from the, older brother of the 7300. It's got two receivers in it, two completely separate receivers, and a few more algorithms and features and things on it, the 7300 does. But basically, they're very close together in terms of performance based on a single frequency. I do like the Icon product. I don't think there are any manufacturers that have radios today that make a bad radio. People are just comparing minutia when they start comparing these radios. They get down, they start measuring the noise floor, they start measuring things. The average ham will never, ever hear. All we need to do is know an instrument to detect those differences. It won't make any difference to the average guy. They're all very good radios, actually. I haven't heard of any manufacturer that makes a lousy radio in many, many years. Some of the ultra-cheap Chinese things, but then, you get what you pay for, basically. Anyway, here's what it is. It's probably about 70 degrees. Nice warm day. Partly cloudy skies, quite sunshine. And I'm on the radio. It's about 70 degrees. It's about 22. Juliet John Fox.
Yeah, Whiskey Bravo 5, India Romeo India, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox returning. So many parallels there. I'll start at the beginning. The green rolling hills. Well, where I live in Kent, so I'm just outside of London in the southeast of England, in Kent, and Kent is known for its rolling hills and that. And you're saying about the grapes and winemaking. Interestingly, at the end of my garden, Doug, I do have grapevines, and every year I have a massive amount of grapes. They're very tight bunches, very sweet, very tight bunches of very small grapes. The grapes are only the size of maybe a pea, a garden pea, and but they're very sweet, but they all have quite a large pip in them, so they're not fantastic for eating in this day and age. I remember as a kid always having to spit grape pips out, but like now they're all seedless grapes, but these ones aren't seedless. But every year I have buckets of grapes, and I normally pass them down to my brother who lives further into Kent than me. He's got a small farm or a small holding, and he's a keen winemaker, but I don't think they're the best. They're a black grape, and they're not the best grape for winemaking. They're great for eating, except for the pips. And as I say, they're not the best one for winemaking. It's quite a difficult position. It's like it's neither one nor the other, if that makes sense. You know, so anyway, so yeah, it's just interesting that you're in the grape region of rolling hills, and I've got grapes growing in a part of England that is rolling hills. So there you go. And radio wise, well, you know, I've got this ICOM IC-7300, and it seems to be the Yaesu Fox Tango 757 Golf X-ray. That it's like that radio was in the 1980s. You know, every C-beer and freebander in the world had a 757 GX back in the 1980s. And believe it or not, I was using one yesterday. I do have one in my repertoire of old radios. But a lot of my old radios, Doug, go back to the 1960s and 70s. They're either hybrids or valve radios, and most of them I've got in for restoration. And I do use these old radios, but today I just thought I'd give the ICOM an outing, and I'm pleased I did, because had I not, I might not have heard you on the 757 or one of the older radios. They obviously don't handle the noise as well as the 7300 does, because obviously the digital noise processing. And yeah, the 7610, I mean, a lovely radio, but out of my price range. And as you say, nowadays I think no one makes a bad radio. I think they're all equally good, and you know, there are nuances, etc., you know, that make them different. And I also think that people like to settle on a brand and they stay to that brand. I mean, I'm a big Kenwood fan, a big Kenwood and Trio fan. So like the Yaesus that I have and the ICOMs, etc., they sort of break the mold. But I am big on the Kenwood. But just before I went away a few weeks ago, I scored a massive pile of KW equipment, and KW was the British version of the American Swan equipment. And I do have a couple of Swans as well. So you can see I've got an eclectic mix of radios, old and new. And the antennas is where I lack. You know, I've got the 5/8 wave vertical for 10 and 12, works very well, all things considered. Other than that, I just use long wire antennas for HF, which are probably not the best, quite lazy. But then I'm very lazy when it comes to antennas, Doug. Back to you there, Doug. Whiskey Bravo 5, India Romeo India. This is M0 JCF.
Business award, Mark, you're just coming in great here this morning. And yeah, you know, I'm the same way. I've got a shack full of old boat anchors. You know, it just well, none of them cover 12 meters, so they're all, you know, they were all manufactured before that band became available. So you know, I have to use the modern radios here on this band, but I enjoy using them, especially on AEM. I don't know whether you do any AEM operation there at all, Mark, but it's a lot of fun. And it's actually gaining in popularity. You know, it almost died out when sideband came out. But now it's picking up again. The radio sound is really good. The modern radio sound really good on AEM. And, you know, so I think a lot of guys are starting to pick up on that aspect. It's a very nice, comfortable sound, you know. Different from sideband. It's fuller. It sort of fills the room with good sounding audio. It's a lot of fun. But you know, sideband is just so much more efficient than AEM. But you know, it's the king for sure. Okay, I wanted to comment on your QRP activity there from Florida recently, and you didn't say whether it was sideband or CW or what, but didn't have much success. I don't know how much power you were running. Be interesting to know. I've got a little Yaesu SP-817 here that I used to use backpacking when I was a scoutmaster with the Boy Scouts. And, you know, we just had a blast with the rig, 5 watts, out in the middle of nowhere, you know, camped under a tree. One thing Boy Scouts are good for is stringing dipoles in trees. But anyway, it's a great little radio, and it's amazing, you know, how or you can talk on less power than the average flashlight, and that just has always fascinated me. You know, today's kids are not fascinated by that at all, however. They've got a cell phone that in some cases has, you know, microwatts, and they can talk all over the world. They just have to know the right number to dial. But, you know, so I kind of convinced them that ham radio is just like fishing. You know, you never know what you're going to catch. You never do. Whereas with a cell phone, well, you have to know the number, and you are pretty sure that you know who's going to be on the other end. So the surprise is out of it. But, you know, it's different. It's a different generation. They enjoy different things, and that's good too. You know, I know I sort of rebelled against my parents and their way of thinking. My kids did the same thing, and now my grandkids are getting to where they're doing the same thing. So I guess that's just the natural progression of things. Anyway, yeah, the old tube type radios. I tell you what, you know, that's wonderful. I love radios that glow in the dark. I love the smell of them, smell of the hot electronics and things like that. And I love getting an old transmitter or receiver that's almost as old as I am, and making it sing and play again, and that's just a lot of fun. The problem is it's getting harder and harder to find parts. You know, the things that go in these old radios generally are the electrolytic capacitors first, and there are plenty of tubes out there. You can still buy tubes, although the prices are getting outrageous. But parts like capacitors and things, they're getting harder to find. Transformers, oh man, they are just very rare. If you've got a rig that blows a transformer, you need to find someone reliable who can rewind it for you, because the chances are good you're not going to be able to buy a replacement. It's getting harder to keep those old rigs on the air, but when you can get them on the air, they sure do work well. You know, for something that's 60, 70 years old. Anyway, very good. Shooter, back to you there. Oh, I wanted to comment on the grapes also. Sorry. Yeah, you know, it's amazing how different varieties of grapes will make different tasting wines, and how where they are grown makes a big difference. The French call that terroir, and it's just incredible. And there are grapes that simply don't make a good wine. They have a foxiness or another flavor to them that's objectionable or doesn't fit our palate unless you grew up drinking that kind of wine. I grew up drinking wine made from the wild grapes here. And that's not very palatable for most people, but it's what I grew up with, and so I kind of like it. But of course, it's not the same as wine made from wine grapes, and that is what we grow is wine grapes here. We sell to the Texas wine industry. I don't have a winery. You know, every time I say I'd like to have a winery, my wife cuts me short and says, not in this marriage. She says, I didn't work hard all my life just to retire and serve a bunch of drunks. So I guess that's the end of that. So we'll just grow the fruit and sell it to the winery and let them do the work. Over.
Yeah, WB5IRIM0JCF. I know exactly what you're saying. Where I live, just a few miles down the road, when I say a few miles, compared to your few miles, I'm talking 20, 30, we have a wine grape growing region, lots and lots of chalk soil, and the wines there are quite good, you know, for English wines, they are quite good, but I think they're mainly exported. You don't normally find them on your table here, but you know, I like a drop of wine. I wouldn't say I was a connoisseur or anything. I like what I like, Doug. That's the best way to explain it, you know. I can have French wine, South African wine, Californian wine. It doesn't matter so long as I like the taste. I'm probably more of a red wine fanatic. I do like a Merlot and I like a Malbec, you know, I like those wines. wines, very nice full-bodied red wines, and quite smooth to the palate is the best way to explain them. But my brother makes, I mean, I've made wine in the past, but my brother will make wine from absolutely anything. And some of the most unlikely things he makes wine from are, you know, the wine turns out to be fantastic, like parsnip and stuff like that, you know, root vegetables. And he makes these awesome wines. But when he makes grape wines using my grapes, no, I wonder sometimes if the wine just needs laying down for many years to maybe improve in flavour, and that's what it is. More than anything, I'm probably a beer maker back in the day, and I like Belgian beers. I like dark Belgian beers, probably a bit too much. But a QRP radio, yeah, I actually do own two FT817s myself, so I know how great those rigs are. But the radio that I took to Florida was a little micro SDX, a little Chinese 8-band HF radio. You'll see it on my QRZ page. I was holding one in my hand, and I had several, so I took one with me, only running about 3 watts. But it wasn't so much the radio, it was the local noise problems I was having, Doug. I was having severe Santiago 9 noise problems on all bands, and I think that's just, you know, that's hotel noise. You know, there were so many routers and TVs and LED lights and everything going on. That was the Marriott Hotel, and the week previous I was actually in an apartment, a very nice apartment, but it was the same sort of thing. I was using dipole antennas cut for 10 and 12 meters, and the noise was just horrendous, so I gave up. I did have one good gig though. I went to the ham radio outlet in Winter Springs, just north of Orlando, and they allowed me very kindly to use one of their demonstration radios, and I used a TS 890, a very nice Kenwood radio, and I stuck it to 50 watts into a multi-band vertical antenna, and I actually managed to work one of my club members back home in the UK. So that ticked a box for me anyway, Doug. You know, I used Whiskey 4/Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox, and I managed to speak to someone back in the UK doing that. So I've sort of ticked that box. I've been to a foreign country and I've used that country's prefix, and say it was Whiskey 4 for Florida. So you could see I was very, very happy about that. So it wasn't all disappointment, but you know, knowing what I know now, I would probably go to the US better armed, you know, forewarned of what to expect, and I would probably take a QRP radio like the FT817, maybe down to the beach with me, you know, get away from the chaos of the buildings around me, go to the beach, hang a dipole up between 2 palm trees, and you know, and do it that way, and hopefully, you know, get a few US contacts, that sort of thing, while I was out there. But you know, I was there for a holiday with my good lady wife, and you know, it wouldn't have been too fair to sort of persist and trace down noise and, you know, basically indulge in my radio hobby while I was there. You know, it was just one of those things. I took the smallest radio that I could and just gave it a go. I took a small linear power supply with me, which I actually left there. I didn't even bother bringing the power supply back home, but the radio I bought at home. And funnily enough, just this week I sold the actual radio that I'd taken with me. As I say, I've got several of them. One of them is actually a homebrew one that I built into a tobacco tin. You'll see that on my QRZ page. So that's the story there with the wine and the QRP radio, Doug. Back to you, WB5IRI. This is M0JCF.
Yeah, M0J, the WB5IRA return. And well, that's interesting. That is interesting. You know, I've seen those little Chinese radios that we use, and seen some ads on them for sale. I've never bought one, never tried one. So That's very interesting. I might have to look into that. You know, I have an antenna called a buddy pole. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, but it's a tubular, it's like a dipole, but it's got traps. And it's got clip leads on it. You can set the traps for whatever band you're on, and it works very, very well. And I go down, we go down to the Gulf of Mexico, which is about 2.5 to 3 hours from here, and set it up out there on the beach on a small tripod. We just have a blast with it. It's great. And so that's something that you might think about if you're going to go down, and just there on the beach with the palm trees and maybe a fancy drink with an umbrella in it. That's some fun. There's a fellow who's his name is Les, and I forgot his call, but he goes down around Christmas time every year to Jamaica and operates on the beach there and just has a blast. You may have run into him before. Gosh, I simply cannot remember his call. It's one of the things about getting old. Before long, I feel like I'll be able to hide my own Easter eggs. But, anyway, he has a ball down there on the beach every year, just sitting on the beach and relaxing and enjoying the sun and working the yanks like crazy from the beach for a couple of weeks. He's usually on 17 meters, but I don't know if he ever gets up through the 12. But anyway, you might say, if you ever run into him, you might take a listen to him sometime right around the holiday season. He's generally when he's down there. Anyway, tell you what, Mark, I'm gonna let you go here. It's been very, very nice to you. Enjoyed walking with you this morning and chewing the fat a little bit. And yeah, you're right. The FT-817 is a great radio. I don't know anything about its successor, the 18 or something like that, but I'm sure it's just as good. But I've just had a blast with my FT-817. It just looks wonders. And it's like I said, it always amazes me how far you can talk on less power than a flashlight. It's just incredible. Take care, buddy. I'll play a little further down the line. And if you ever get to Texas, look me up. We'll sit on the porch, have a glass of wine or two, and then come upstairs and watch some deal. Take care. M0JCF, WB5IRI, 73.
Yeah, WB5IRI-M0JCF for that final. Doug, an absolute pleasure for you to come back to my CQ call today. And I see we've done nearly 30 minutes rag chewing, and it was really, really refreshing and really nice, to have those rag chews where the band has held up quite nicely. You sometimes peaked around S7 and lovely, lovely audio when that happened. Otherwise, you was just on the cusp of hearing like an ocean sound behind your signal, but not obtrusive at all. It was very nice indeed. And just for just in case you do ever venture into YouTube, I have videoed this particular QSO, and with your permission, I'll put it on my YouTube channel. There's over 500 videos on there. It's basically its storage space, but it's called M0JCF ham radio, and if you don't mind, I'll put the video there, and if ever you get the chance to go there and have a look, you'll see how you sounded here in the southeast of England. But like you, I forget things, so I'll probably do that quite I'll do that quite soon. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Working on flea power, sometimes it's great. It's a sense of achievement, and always makes me smile. But then like using the old stuff that's like 50, 60 years old, sometimes older, I'm still amazed that you can sometimes get better performance out of this old stuff than the newer stuff. And if we can keep it out of landfill, I'm all for it. I'm not big on saving the planet per se, but when it comes to my hobby. If I can rescue stuff that people are throwing away and then get some use and some fun out of it, power to me and power to my fingers while I can still use that soldering iron. Doug, you know, I always tend to ramble on when I'm saying goodbye, so I think now it's time for me to say goodbye. I've got to go and prepare dinner. Actually, I did say to someone earlier that around 5:30 local time, 17:30 local time, I should be logging off and going to prepare dinner for me and my good lady wife. So you've probably made it a good call to close this QSO down. But all the very best to you and yours, Doug. And yeah, it'd be fantastic one day to come and visit the great state of Texas. And yeah, a glass of wine, well, maybe we'll share a few bottles and compare notes. I'm sure we'd find a lot of fun in that as well, and working the DX just be an added dimension. I don't know how we do the DX after 2 or 3 bottles, but there you go. I'm sure we could make that one a good experiment. Bye bye for now, old man, and take care. It's been great fun speaking to you. WB5IRI M0JCF. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Mark. Go ahead and put that on YouTube next time. Don't mind it all. 73M0JCF. 5IRI.
Very much appreciate that. Okay, before I go QRT, if anyone would like a report, this is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot Mark in the southeast of England listening.
Off windy, Mike.
G40IM M0JCF. Hello, Peter. I take it you listened to that one then. Back to you.
Yes, I did. He's not that strong on my little low dipole. He's about S2, S3. It really doesn't favour sort of long distance DX, but I heard every word and all very interesting. And a nice contact into Texas. Who else have you worked today, Mark? Over?
Yeah, okay, well, I only came on the radio, and then let me just check the logbook here. I switched on and contacted Trev in Fuerteventura, EA8DFC, and I spoke to him just before I went on holiday. In fact, it's our 4th contact today on the 4th different radio that I've got. I'm using the IC-7300, by the way. Yeah, it was the 4th radio, 4th contact, but the 2nd band. The other 3 times was on 10 metres. So I literally turned on the radio, heard him calling along with a CT station. That was at 16:47. So yeah, I've been at it nearly an hour now. And so I spoke to Trev for about, let's have a look at the book, 15 minutes. Then I found a clear spot. I literally called CQ12 meters about 3 or 4 times. And then Doug come back to me down there, Austin, Texas. And yeah, as you see, a very, very nice rag chew ensued, lasting around 30 minutes. So very, very pleased with that. I mean, you cannot beat a good rag chew when you call CQ. And you know, when somebody also diversifies, I mean, I know we talked quite a bit about radios, etc., but you know, talking about the wine and stuff like that, I found that quite interesting, you know. And I thought it was funny that he wants to start up his own winery, but his wife told him not in this marriage. And yeah, I know how he feels. I get that sometimes with some of my more esoteric hobbies. But that's the story. So just 2 contacts. Well, you're the 3rd contact. And as I say, I've literally got to go QRT. I'm doing stuffed seasonal squashes tonight, Peter. I'm doing, they're like you know, they look like miniature pumpkins, but these ones are green with yellow stripes on them, about the size of a grapefruit. And I'm going to stuff them with mixed beans and tomatoes and stuff like that. And they take about an hour to cook. And my wife said, can we have dinner about 5:30? So I knew I had to get off the radio. Sorry, not 5:30. What is the time now? Oh, sorry, it's right, my clock's wrong. It's 4:30, just gone 4:30. She said, can we have it at 5:30? And I said, yeah, you know, I'll come down in a moment. So yeah, I'm due to shut everything down now. So that's the long ramble to let you know what I've been up to there, Peter. G40IM M0JCF.
Okay, Mark, yes, I've missed the start of your contact with the, I've forgotten his name over there in Texas, but I heard you talking about grapes and things, and you've got your own little grapes there, and there's sort of lots of grapes where he is. Of course, California is the sort of big grape growing area over there. Don't drink much in the way of wine myself. Haven't done for quite a while. Anyway, okay about the squash for your evening meal, very nice too. I do like a bit of squash, but I tend not to use it much. I had I'm having sausages, I think, for my tea tonight, and last night I had swede, which I love, you know, mashed swede with butter and pepper and that kind of thing. Had that last night, but today it'll be potatoes and sausages, and I've got some, what do they call them? They're not Morse too, but there's like that sort of whole peas, which is nice. Anyway, Charles, you've got to get the oven on for your squash thing, and okay about your contacts. Only made a couple myself today, only into Europe, both on 12, one with an EA5 and then a YL2. And looking back, who else have I worked? Oh, I had a chat with a local on 17 meters. This is Peter, who you probably know, G7 Uniform Lima Lima. He's over in Chislehurst, so very close to me, but we had a nice chat. Looking back through my logbook, last CT I worked was CT1EHI, worked him on 10 meters FM. He used to be very active on 10 FM from the club. That's another story. Sean, you've got to go. M0JCF, I'll speak to you soon. G40IM, over.
Yeah, G40IM M0JCF. Yeah, I know Peter G7ULL very well. See him down at the club most Thursdays when I go down there. I would imagine he's down there every Thursday that the club's open, which is every other Thursday throughout the year. And yeah, he's very, very prolific on the bands. You can quite hear him, often hear him in contests and all sorts, you know. I don't think there's anything that the man doesn't do. He's very enthusiastic, and don't often speak to him on the radio. More likely say hello to him face to face. You know, we don't have long conversations or ever. But yeah, and yeah, no, Doug just he was down say Austin, Texas, and yeah, he was the first contact with me calling CQ12 today. And yeah, as I say, his signal held up with me very, very well indeed. He was consistently around the Santiago 4 to 5, and comes a couple of times nearer the end he peaked 7, but he was using a step IR 3-element beam pointing my way, and 1400 watts, which, you know, is quite remarkable when you're thinking I was using 100 watts. So, you know, I'm sort of I'm about sort of 12 dB or thereabouts, you know, down on his signal. I'm only using 100 watts, and of course he had the gain on his antenna as well. Well, let's be I don't know what sort of gain they are, but let's be middle of the road and say 9 dB of gain. You know, it's you know, he was putting out a good ERP. What's that? Sort of 11,000? No. Well, let's call it 10 dB. That would be 14,000 watts. You know, ERP. But I'm just, you know, picking numbers out of thin air. Ignore it. I mean, he was using 1,400 watts. I meant the dB gain on his antenna. I have no idea how much gain was on the antenna. But there you go. Anyway, a waffle over. Yeah, I best go. I'm 15 minutes behind schedule now. And one thing you should never do is I'm a big man. Never keep me from my food. And my wife, well, she's my wife, so we can't keep her from her food for completely different reasons. But great speaking to you again, Peter. Well done on the contacts today. As I say, I don't generally go below 12. Sometimes I go to 15 metres, but 10 and 12 is where I'm sticking for the next couple of years. And then once we come out, start dropping out of cycle 25, then I'll probably be more consistent on 15 metres and possibly 17. I'm not a big 20 metre user. You know, it's chock full of people just chasing DX all year round, and good luck to them. I say 40 metres, 80 metres, you'll find me there, especially in the winter months in the evenings, and of course 2 metres, you'll find me on 2 metres as well. But that's another story. All right, old chap, normal 5 and 5 to 5 and 7 to me on the ground wave. So as always, not a bad signal from you with the little bit of terrain in between us. All the very best. Take care. Have a great weekend if I don't speak to you beforehand. And until the next time, I say 73 G4OIM M0JCF. Cheers, mate.
Okay, Mark. Of course, we're cross-polarised, which makes quite a big difference. You're vertical, I'm horizontal. That can make a huge difference. Surprisingly, even over a short distance. And just wanted to mention actually the step IR antenna. I used the amateur radio station at Bletchley Park a few years back, and they had one of those sort of huge rigs. I'm not sure which one. You know, one of those vast rigs. And I think I was using a step IR. I think they had a step IR hooked up to it. I can't remember how it works now. It's a few years back over at Bletchley. That's another story, I'm sure. F0JCF, I'll speak to you soon, Mark. G4OIM.
Yeah, cheers, Peter. Until the next time, I must say take care. Have a great weekend. This is Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, southeast of England, going QRT. This frequency is clear for use.